Well, hello everybody. Surprise, surprise. We have the 8:30 edition, Saturday, November 8th, of the Simulcast of three social networks: YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Twitter Live. The handle for most of them is FAU4U. FAU4U. Not affiliated with Florida Atlantic University, but I am adjunct faculty there for over 20 years. How about that? Yeah, over 20 years would be the accurate thing to say. We don't. I've been teaching there since 2000, but I was in like the continuing education department, and then all of a sudden they said, poof, no more continuing ed department. we're gonna turn that down just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, how about just like that? Yeah, we want it in the background. We don't want to be competing with it. Anyway, so they decided to do away with the continuing education department. I guess it wasn't doing. I mean, I filled my classes, had several of them, and the wife of the dean of the business school was outstanding in getting me FaceTime, so to speak, with the local newspapers, including the Sun Sentinel. And as soon as that thing hit the Sun Sentinel on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, I mean, I got a nice big ad, about this size ad, in a newspaper, 2-column inch by 5-inch with a photograph or something. I mean, it was spectacular. And my phone was ringing off the hook. Oh, God, with people wanting to take the class. And, of course, this is in 2000. So this is, wow. Whew. Click back 24 years. Holy crap. I was teaching digital photography 24 years ago when no one even knew what the hell it was. But I did. Yep, I knew what it was. Yeah. And I wrote 12 lesson plans, so to speak. Every week I would hand out a couple of pages, and we go through those couple of pages every week, assuming it was, the classes are one time a week, like 10 weeks. And sometimes I had two classes, a Tuesday class and a Thursday class, and still 10 weeks. And the bottom line is an empty classroom was now full. It was a win-win. So I got to teach at a 30,000, well, it was 22,000 student university. It's now over 30,000. And then so then they decided to do away with continuing ed. And, that's a problem. So, I don't know, I met up with John Harlan. I met him at Mon Ami, which was a nice French restaurant. And, so I told him my problem. He said, no problem. I got a classroom for you. You can teach at the College of Science. I said, wow, perfect. I got my 12 lessons. I'll write 12 more, so I'll end up with 24. And, you can, so he provisioned me for a room in the Earth Sciences building on the third floor, like room 3 Oh, gosh. 354. I actually don't remember I know where it is. It was 350. I don't know. So you get out of the elevators and then you make a left turn. And then you get down as far as, and then you make a right turn and you look to your left. And about halfway down that corridor was room 350 something or 340 something. I'm going to say 354 if I had to guess. And it was, it had a projector. So I had to get I bought a Hewlett Packard Windows. I mean, it's everything I hate, I was a Windows guy for a long time, but it had every known port, in the side. It had like 9 ports over here on the left side of the thing. And I didn't know what plugs they had with this projector. So, yep, it was, and plugged that sucker right in there. And then I was hot with the overhead projector, which was kind of crucial for this thing. There was like 24 positions with a computer terminal, or you could bring your own laptop if you want, and it should be loaded with Photoshop Elements. Can you imagine a 24-year-old version of Photoshop Elements? Today, it's a masterpiece. But I was teaching digital imaging 24 years ago. Can you imagine? Anyway, so then John Harlan met with everyone. It took about 5 weeks. He met with everyone, all the people that, when you have an all department heads meeting in the College of Science. You got physical chemistry people, you got the chemistry people, you got the earth sciences people. Everyone that runs, so you got a bunch of PhDs and so forth. So Harlan said there's 3 guys. I don't think there was a lady. I mean, there are women, but there's 3 guys that always have something to say in these all department head meetings. It always happens. So I need to bring him in my office so they can meet you and you have a nice little happy conversation. It doesn't have to be a very technical conversation. Tell them about your class and talk about yourself and ask questions. And so I did. I made friends with the 3 other PhDs, and yes, they were probing and just So that was perfect, supposedly. And then Harlan, at the next all department heads meeting, I would like to nominate James Wilson to be adjunct faculty. He teaches digital imaging and post-image processing. He's got 24 lessons, and so he won't run out of lessons. And that's how I got into college. And by unanimous vote, we are pleased to approve your application to be, adjunct faculty at the Charles E. Schmidt College of Science. So, it's like politics, like anything else. You got to get to, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Anyway, so I became adjunct faculty in October of 2003. And then 700 hours later, I wrote a book. And Harlan, Dr. John Harlan, introduced me to the acquisitions editor of Pearson Education, which is the world's largest educational publisher, at least the nation's largest. the nation and European, I don't know whether it extends through China or not, but it was the biggest. It was not the Okefenokee Press. It was a major, major league publisher. And so I met with her, and she said, "Your book, Mr. Wilson, I'm happy to say that your writing is absolutely unique." And I said, "Well, thank you." No, what she means is, we don't have anything that we've published that's anything like this. I said, "Well, that should be a good thing." She said, "Yes, sir." That's what we want. We don't want to publish a bunch of books that we've already, published already. So we'd be happy to consider us buying your. So they bought my book. It was like a $40,000 contract. How about that for my first? Yeah. And when they printed up a bunch of them and they put them in the library, and they did a beautiful job. I need to get one out here so I can show it to you, but not today. So, well, I'm relieved that this election stuff is behind us. Oh my God. Sure. I'm not a hard left, right. I'm a right-leaning middle guy politically. I believe we should help everybody that needs help, but I don't want to help people that don't need help. That can do it on their own. They're just lazy. No. We want to help people that need help, not choose to get help, if you know what I mean. So if that's, I'll call that middle right-leaning. And I'm not a big, arms around Trump guy. I mean, I don't mind him, but he's a hard guy. He's not the easiest guy to get along with, probably. Never met him. I'd like to meet him if I could. But, he's a multi-billionaire. His kids are all billionaires. A billion is 1,000 million. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah. So, when you looked at the two candidates, so fine, you got to, personally, I've been a banker for almost all of my working life, let's say, except for 5 or 6 years. I was in the banking business in a big way. And then after a while, when you get experienced more and more, I became the chief executive officer of a bank. That's the highest level person that you can be in a company, corporation. And it's a highly regulated, it's a complex business to manage. And you have to have, competent people all over the place. You can't have any leaks, like leaks in the canoe. No leaks. I don't mean it like leaks in the CIA. Or that. I don't mean it. Everything has to be shipshape, And in my early career, I was, making little loans and bigger loans and bigger loans. And after a few years, I was making, 10, 15, 20, $100 million loans, financed Joe Robbie Stadium. How about that? Whew, that was a big one. 26,000 car parking. I remember that statistic. Yes, sir, Bob. Whew, that's a lot of cars. And 74,000 seats, something like that. Something like that would, run you about 300 million. Back 1981 and a half, 1982. Yep. That's when the shovel went in the ground. Today it's multi-billion-dollar, but 1980. I'm going to say two. If I had to pick a date, 1982. Oh crap, that's a lot of years ago. Yeah. Ooh, that's like 40. Yeah. The big four. Ooh, more than 40. Okay. Well, if you don't mind, I don't want to do the math. It's a lot of years ago. It's 40. Oh, anything over 40, we don't get any more precise than that. Yeah. That's $120 million loan. I was working with Southeast Bank. We kept 20 million of it, and we laid off 100 million to 4 or 5 other banks that took $20 million pieces. Not a big deal, there's big banks, Bank of New York, Citibank, Chicago, Texas. We went all around the place to get the participations. So when you're funding $120 million, each draw was like $8 million. The monthly draws, let's say $5 million monthly draws. That's, a lot of people don't even get to make a $5 million loan, much less have monthly draws of $5 million. So, and it was a relatively complicated building to build. You're always worried about the structural engineering part of it, and the load limits, or, if someone throws a pass into the end zone and they go, oh my God, it gets caught, and everybody stands up. Well, just think of the gravitational force, on the stadium, in the stadium where people are sitting, and they all jump to their feet. So you not only have to figure out the load factor for 75,000 people with an average weight of, let's say, 200 pounds, if you had to pick a high number. And then they jump in the air because the ball was caught in the end zone with 3 seconds left on the clock, and everyone jumps up. Well, now you have 200 pounds, times what? 5? Because they jumped, so now you got a 1,000-pound person instead of a 200-pound person. Well, multiply 1,000 by 70, you got millions of pounds of force that get placed on that structural arrangement in the stadium. So you got to figure, and to be safe, add another 500 pounds. So, make it 2,000. So you got 2,000 pounds per person, and you got 70. Oh gosh, let's just do it. It's too many zeros. Let's not make a mistake. So we're going to say 2,000 pounds because they jump in the air, and a 200-pound person is the equivalent of 2,000 pounds because they jumped up and they pushed down on their feet to jump up in the air. That's how you get to 2,000. All right. Now we're going to multiply that times 75,000 seats. Ouch. Enter. That's 150 million pounds. So that stadium has to be able to sustain a seating capacity of 150,000 pounds. Yep. 150 million pounds. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. So I don't know how I got there. I'm just making sure I got you. There you go. Anyway, so 150 million pounds. Anyway, so that was my phone call to the architects. Can this stadium withstand 150 million pounds of downward pressure? And then you add to that the weight of the steel, reinforcing iron, and the cement itself, because the structural arrangement has to hold up all the concrete and the iron and whatever. So add to that 150 million pounds. How does that work? The architects are. They got their slide rules out on their calculators, and well, we've never had a banker ask that question before. I said, okay, no problem. Now you have. You can never say that again, right? Yeah. So that's what. Oh, that's what Jimmy did to. Yeah, the architectural world. Hey, they're all reasonable questions, right? Gosh. Everyone jumps up. You don't want to have the stadium collapse. So you gotta figure, well, maybe we better increase the gauge of that iron. Yeah. Do whatever you gotta do. But if you didn't calculate for 150 million pounds, I want to know what number you used and how you got it. Not many bankers would engage with the structural engineers with that. Yes, sir. I kept them on their toes. Well, that's a good question. Well, thank you. I like good questions. Well, I understand this morning that Nevada, has been counted, and the electoral votes for Nevada are now given to Trump. And the only state I think left is Arizona. Now, you would, the last I saw, Trump had 150,000 vote advantage. It's a touching state to Mexico, so you would think that it would be a, highly sensitive to, Trumpism, because he's a law and order guy. He wants the southern border closed. He wants all borders closed. No more people jumping the fence. No, we fixed the fence. We finished building the fence. It is managed electronically or with, armed guards with real bullets in their rifles. And it's okay for them to shoot the sand, to let them know to get off the wall or whatever. Don't shoot them unless you have to. But if you have to, shoot them. Shoot him in the knee. Let him limp home. No more jumping the border, north or south or east or west. Don't swim here. No, you go into your embassy, and we'll bring in 1 million people a year legally. No more legal. No more legal. Illegal. That's Jimmy. In March of 1973. Look at that. There's Jimmy with the burros. The B 1700, 2700. I forget. Whether that's my office or whether I was up on the. I think we had office. my office is on the 5th floor, and Les Byron's office is on the 6th floor. And he had an installation up there. His was a B2700, and we had a B1700. There was, the increase in the, in the number had something to do with, it added another $50,000. We didn't need that much capacity. So the House race is 212 to 200, as they're counting the last couple of states and the last, 8 or 9 House of Representatives that are too close to call. Yeah, wow. Anyway, you can see Jimmy over there. Yep, there he is. In living black and white. I was going to show you how to colorize that. Let's see if I have a colorization application in the easy side here of this, of the one that's connected to the computer. Colorize. I'm looking at the logos here. Or not logos, what do you call them? Icons. Up there it is. Colorize. Open. No, I don't want special gifts. I just want to this looks no, I don't want to do that. Oh well. Live TV, forget it. It just won't let me do it. I think I have it on this one, but you can't see this one. Yeah. Oops. There it is. Does this work anyway? No, I don't want a special gift. Restoring. These are ones that were done. I need to get. Import. Yeah, this is it. Import. That's the key word. I'm looking for Jimmy. In the Jimmy picture. I think it's closer this way. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm looking through. Oh, there it is. Importing. Yep, there we go. Oh, nice. There we go. There it is. And all the brilliant color. More options. Oh, let's get it out of here. We want to save selected photo. Save. Send to this device. Alright, so now I should have a color image in here of Jimmy. There it is. Alright, let's see if we can see it. There we go. There it is. So now, the magic of digital photography. So that, so you can see, almost skin color on that. Let's go full. Let's go full screen on that. So there's. Looks like I colorized one that was already colored. I didn't realize that one was in color already. Yeah. The back of my neck looks like skin. And the tabletops, that's about how they looked. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of color in here. Those are white shoes, supposedly. Back in the days when white loafers were the in thing. Now I'm like after hours, Of course, I didn't walk around with a suit and tie on all the time, unless I had to. It's a private enterprise, This was when I was working for World Associates, the sole franchisee of Kennedy and Cohen. We sold hundreds of millions of dollars worth of washers, dryers, ranges, refrigerators, color TVs, console TVs. Remember the days of the console? Looked like a big piece of furniture with a television tube in the middle. Yeah. Well, anyway, we had stores in 5 different states, so I'm trying to figure out how we can, organize and computerize all our employees. Hire date, end date, this date, that date, everything but how much they weighed. You couldn't have that for some, I'm just kidding. So that's what I was doing. I was writing software in COBOL. I was a coder. I was a computer operator. Yeah. And that was a pretty fancy computer. That was, I convinced Ed McCluskey and Bill Barnett, hey, let's spend $185,000 for this thing. And I specified it. I met with the Burroughs people and, this and that. And we had Burroughs equipment in the 5 different states. And they all, using the telephone lines, were synced up together. It was one of the first private installations where we had 4 or 5 states connected into our headquarters office. So, it was a pretty high-tech situation. Yeah. There we go. The system is constantly trying to there we go. Yeah, it's trying to always add my phone as a camera, so then you can zoom around things. I'd like to be able to get this in a suitcase, where I could go out in the field and sit at a park bench and do a little talk like I'm talking right now, sitting on a park bench, and I could show you, the palm trees with the wind blowing through them. The weather's about to get nice. We have, let's see what's going on with our hurricane awareness. So up in the top right corner, we have speed tests, and then we have an icon that looks like icon with a hurricane symbol on it. Let's touch that. Bingo. And what does it say? It says we have something. We just have Rafael. That's in the Gulf of Mexico, I think. Yeah, right there. It seems to be, according to the NOAA, it seems to be heading southwest. It's a tropical disturbance, or it's a tropical storm that is going to degrade to a tropical depression. Oh my gosh. This is infrared satellite telemetry, but it does have rotation. You can almost see an eye You can almost see an eye in the, not smack in the middle of that, a little, like 7 o'clock middle. You see, right there, a little peak of an eye. So that's, that is definitely cyclonic. And it looks like it has there's a lot of upper level winds that are like probably knocking off the top of that, so that it's preventing it from becoming more organized. It's very nicely organized, as a tropical storm. That's about as organized as I've ever seen. Not that I'm Mr. Weatherman, but yeah, that looks pretty threatening. There's a lot of rain going on there. May not be high winds, but there's a lot of rain. Yep. Well, so aside from the politics of Republican, Democrat, whatever, I'm sure the transition teams are going bananas now. Get rid of Colorize, get rid of that. What's my blood sugar like? 156. Not for treatment decisions. I'm a weekly user of Ozempic, and that is a marvelous regimen that keeps your blood sugar under control, so to speak. I'll get rid of RCP. We don't need that anymore. Thank God. We don't need settings. And we'll start Fantastical all over again. And what's this? We don't need that. So we've cleaned up. You see me wiggling that, yeah. So I basically, what I do is I do a lot of reading. As you can tell here, I'm reading my COBOL, Common Business Oriented Language, COBOL, yeah. So I was, I'm a serious employee of this company. I'm like the top 5, if you were to line everybody up according to rank and privilege. Let's say the top 10. Let's be more safer. Yeah, I'm in the top 10, and so I'm being paid pretty good. So I don't have a desktop calculator. I got a whole computer installation. Yeah, that's very. Oh my God, I knew how to use it too. Yep, I paid attention. So we'll get rid of one of those. So look at this. So in my readings, I came across prancing around, prancing, right? How about a dog? Can a dog prance? Kind of like, it's like jogging, but for a dog. They pounce or they prance. There is a robotic dog with, it looks like it could be armed with, a 9mm gun, handgun. It can shoot at you if it had to. It prances around the perimeter, apparently, of Mar-a-Lago. This is taken, from across the waterway. It's 9:15 a.m. Bingo. Yep. Wow. Been on here 40 minutes and I haven't even talked about anything yet. Because we just got to the prancing robotic dog. Like advanced devices. Don't know the name of the company. But they've been working on that dog the robotics. They got a robot, humanoid kind of robot that can jump and do, kinds of acrobatic things. And you can have one for about $180,000. I think this dog is $150,000. But instead of having some guy walking around sweating and whatever, this is hot out there in the sun. You're dressed up and you got, your approved Secret Service outfit with a shirt and a tie, probably, and a sport coat, and weaponized and Simonized. Now, so now they have robotic dogs floating around. Now, Mar-a-Lago is where the president's, where he resides. You can call it a home. It's actually it's AKA the C.W. Post estate. It's a big chunk out of the island of Palm Beach, the very southern tip. It goes from the ocean all the way over to the Intercoastal Waterway. This picture may have been taken from, see the boat? That's on the International Waterway. All the way on the other side of the property is the Atlantic Ocean. So they not only have, that's a machine gun in the front of this boat, which goes around. It's got two engines back there, and look what's here. We've got some added little tower power, so they can look out all four directions. And it's radio controlled. There's people in there. Person. Could be two persons. There's a cable that runs down there. That black looking doodad. I have another picture of it that shows a little clearer. Yeah. So, yeah. There's the dog. I put a red circle around it so it would be obvious. There's a better picture of the whatever you want to call that thing. And apparently, with some kind of a joystick, you can bring that down to the ground. So you can put some, this is like a front door. That's the handle of the front door, yeah. And that's the Secret Service insignia. I guess that's the right word. Yep, that's door. The United States Secret Service. Certainly has been in the press. Since our president-elect has had two attempted assassinations with high-powered rifles within several hundred yards of the president. There shouldn't be any high-powered rifles within several hundred yards of a president or president-elect or candidate for president, of the United States. Come on. Yes. Hey. Well, he's now president-elect. The lady, could you really imagine that person being the commander-in-chief of the United States, all the military services? I mean, that would make it so that would be such a figurehead type position instead of a real commander-in-chief. So that would, of course, elevate. Let's say you had Kamala Harris is the president-elect and sitting vice president. That would obviously elevate, the people that, the 4-star generals, 5-star generals, that manage our military and the Pentagon and so forth. She just, I don't think so. She wouldn't answer the simplest of questions. She's so tied up. She's overmanaged, in my opinion. And she got herself so tied up she couldn't answer any questions because she's afraid of, pissing off 5 million people somewhere. I mean, no matter what you say, someone's not going to like it. That's the theory. So, anyway, so, and Trump is not trigger happy and all this crap. He's of sound mind. I don't know what was going on there. This is good morning. That's looking out my balcony, and there's a modest view of the ocean. But if you look between buildings, yeah, it's amplified, not amplified. Yeah, that's the Boca. That's the Boca Resort, 25-story building. That, the top floor is a restaurant, and the bottom floors are meeting rooms and bars, restaurants, and so forth. I think it's a 25-story building. Is it 28? Maybe it's 28. It's under 30. That's what I see when I look out one way at the balcony. If I look the other way, that's sun's coming up. That's good. There's the other view. Yep. It's nice. 8 stories up. Been here 12 years, so yeah. So, so we drive a Tesla. It's an electric car. It's magical. I'm telling you. It is such it's a dream to drive that car. I mean, it's just so well engineered. I've driven it for 4 years now. Never had a need to go into the service department to do anything. There's no oil to change. There's no oil to even look at. Everything is totally sealed for, I'm told, 1 million miles. Maybe they'd open something up to see if it needs a little fluid. But, everything is sealed. There isn't any place for the fluid to go. So it's all sealed up. There's no gasoline engine. There's no air filters. There's filters for the air conditioner. That's about it. Never had to change that either. There's it's all automated. The car will tell you if it needs something, and it will say, "Hello, would you kindly change my air filter?" I've never had that command. It'd come up in writing, I think. I don't think it would talk to me. I'm sure it will at some point, but not yet. Can you imagine arguing with your car? Car? We need to go home. Time to go home. Yeah. That's coming. Right now we're into getting the full self-driving feature so that it is operational across, the United States. Right now they're looking to get full self-driving authorized by the state of Texas and the state of, I guess, California, where they have a lot of cars. And, it's, you got factories. So that's once a couple of states, run it for a year, then they're going to expand it. Hopefully, to get. I think the Florida governor he's already approved full self-driving for, for companies, other and including Tesla, trucks that are on the highway. So it wouldn't be authorized for all the side streets, but it would help to increase the safety and soundness of driving on the highway, because we don't want a driver falling asleep on the road and it drifting off into whatever, with 80,000 pounds of Cheerios, whatever. Yeah. So this is how Trump and Harris display, men by race. The reason why you have all this racial crap is because the media keeps doing this too. Who the hell cares? But I mean, apparently someone does. So white men. Harris, got 37% of all white men, and Trump got 60% of all white men, black men. Harris got 77%, Trump got 21%. Normally, or previously, say not normally, previously, Republican or conservative candidates for presidential office would get 5%, maybe 6% of black men. Well, Trump got 21%. How about that? Latino. Wow. Trump got 55% of the Latin vote, and Harris got 43%. And that's because he's strong on the border. And other, so you got black, white, Latino. So you have other would be Asian. Every other type of, European. I don't know, not European. So countries other than you're not black, they want to know. You can't add and subtract these things because it'd be overlapping. Because you could have Latino would be a mix. Latino could be partially Latin. So, you have to figure out how I guess these are whatever the person checked off on their voter registration. If you self-declared Latino, self-declared black, white. So other would be like Native American Indian. Yeah, could be Asian. Yeah. So at least those two would add, would be included in other. Yeah. So 46 to 40. That's so they pretty much split the vote for the other category. Yeah. So that was a panel that came out of that MSNBC in the corner there on the top left corner. MSNBC. So anyway, I'm totally happy that what is this? Yeah, Carrie Lake. She's 40,000 votes behind. 49 to 48. But they've got 22% of the vote outstanding still. She's still hoping that she gets close enough for a recount. If she can't beat the guy, let's do a recount and see if maybe they missed some votes. So there's the president standing next to Carrie Lake. She missed governor, now she's running for Senate. If she doesn't get in this, I'm wondering if the Trump administration would pick her up or something. She is a very good communicator. She would be good, like the press secretary. You meet with all the press every day. She could stand in front of that podium and get hammered by the media. I mean, she's getting hammered by the media right now, or when she was running for senator, or she's running for governor. It's mostly about her and her background. She's smart enough. She's a mature lady. She was a news anchor for a number of years in that southwestern TV market. So, if I was advising the president's transition team, I would think of her as the press secretary. She would report to somebody that would actually be in the cabinet. She wouldn't be. That's not a cabinet position, press secretary. That goofy looking. I don't know what race she is, but she's dark skinned. So with goofy hair, and that is, she reads out of a binder. She doesn't know what to say. She's not strong enough upstairs to answer a question without having the lawyer review before. So she had this notebook with, that answered every possible question, and she'd try to, figure out how to find the answer by paging through this big notebook. That's how she started off. That's you just don't have a real strong talent pool in the current administration. Trump is like an Elon Musk in a sense. He has the ability to attract the best talent that money can buy. As my mother used to say. My mother was a very strong-willed Democrat. That when I got to about 35 years old, I finally got her convinced to be a conservative. And she became very conservative. But she was very liberal when she grew up. Oh my God. Yeah. Grew up in Brooklyn, Queens, Jamaica, Jamaica Estates. Not far from where the president grew up, actually. On the North Shore, when you head towards Manhattan. Yep. Jamaica. Jamaican me crazy. So that crazy DA in Los Angeles finally got voted out of office. The one that would keep letting criminals out the back door as fast as the police could arrest them in the front door. So I'm looking through these pictures. There's Trump's granddaughter. Remember at the Republican convention, and she was telling everybody about her grandpa. And they're standing together. There they are on the golf course. She's apparently an extremely good golfer. Wants to be a professional golfer. There's Yellowstone. And this is Saturday. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock. The first of season 6 or something or other. There you go. Yellowstone season 6. Yeah. And how much Kevin Costner will be, will he be in a lot of the scenes or not? So that's the scuttlebutt with that. I told Marilyn, I said, we should watched the last 2 episodes of season 5. Let's get an hour and a half under our belt of Yellowstone because we haven't, it's been out of commission for a couple of years. So I need to get my head screwed on straight on these characters like this, the younger brother. This is the older daughter. This is another brother, but he's even younger than that brother, and this is Papa. So that's, I believe that's the current family tree. I don't remember what's up with Mama. I don't think we've seen a Mama Yellowstone. I could be wrong. It's not in the current shows, so maybe she was in season 2 and something happened to her. It's hard to tell. Anyway, I plucked these off an advertisement from Paramount. You can see up in the corner there, Paramount. Yeah. So that's what I do. I read a lot, and then I get the stuff talking about Trump. So this is talking about technology, cars. The Tesla car supposedly has a system in it where it can detect, whatever's wrong with the car, it can detect it somehow with sensors. And even with door dings and so forth, if the radius of curvature of the internals of the car or the externals of the car, it'll report it to the service department even before you get there. So it'll know everything about the car and what needs to be done before you even arrive for service, even before you even know you need service. I mean, that's the car is like crazy, unbelievable. Yeah. So this guy, he's the head of the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell. He's like defiantly saying, Trump can't do anything with me. My contract's good until, 2026 or whatever. And basically, he says, I'm not stepping down. No, I'm good until 2000. They're like independent, and their everything about them is supposedly independent. But I'm told from the news, no secret information for me. I have no contacts within the Federal Reserve. They can make life so miserable for him. He'll want to be, he'll want to be somewhere else. So even though the president doesn't have the legal right to push him out, they can make life so terrible for him that he'll want out. So I wouldn't get too cocky, Mr. Chairman Powell. So you got 12 Federal Reserve banks, and those Federal Reserve banks have presidents, and they're basically economists type. They're not so much operational type. They can come out of the banking business, but if you looked into the backgrounds of these 12 Federal Reserve presidents that know their markets really well, and there's certain key things that they look for, employment information, trade and commerce, how much is coming in, how much is going out, do they have seaports, train, rail, what's going on with products coming and going in and out of their marketplaces. Federal Reserve Bank 6 is in Atlanta. You got a center in Kansas City. You got a center in New York City. You got Chicago. Federal Reserve Bank in Chicago. You got one in Texas. You got California, Colorado. You add it up, there's 12 Federal Reserve banks. And they all essentially, every quarter or every periodically, I'm going to say quarterly, they meet with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell and talk about whatever they're talking about. Yep. And one of the things they've been arguing about is interest rates. Should we cut rates? Should we leave them alone? So they just decided to cut it another quarter. So the stock market is going crazy. Elon Musk, his net worth went up to about $300 billion. Oh, geez. That's a lot of... Remember, a billion is 1,000 millions. So he has 300,000 millions. That's a lot of millions. There you go. Eggs, $6.53 a dozen. That's 54 cents a piece. Eggs used to be 10 cents a piece, 20 cents a piece. Butter, pound of butter, $8. That's crazy. So, the grocery store business, everything is a double. Maybe they'll put the Indian back on the box. There used to be an Indian on the box. I don't know why. Land O'Lakes, I guess, because you're out in the land. This lady, Susie Wilkes, has been offered the position of chief of staff, and apparently she has accepted it. So she's probably already on or near the transition team. Now she'll be right smack in the middle of it. She knows the president very well. She ran this campaign, which was obviously positive because he got elected. He won the election and won the popular vote. That's why you wonder why he went to New York and did his rally in Manhattan in, what do you call it? And he did it in California, but he went right in the middle of Madison Square Garden and jam-packed 19,900 seats, with, not necessarily Trump people. It could be Trump people. They had not Trump people. They were considering to being Trump people. Yeah. But that's what he did. And of course, if you do that, then the whole New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all those TV channels were covering that rally. I watched it, on YouTube, actually. Maybe it was an RSBN, Right Side Broadcasting Network, RSBN, yeah. Anyway, I watched it. I go to YouTube often to watch all kinds of things that are not necessarily covered by the networks. And, sometimes the networks, they oh yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on that. And then they get back to what they were talking about. These people that are on the networks, they like to have their face time. They don't want to give up their broadcasts for a rally. But see, if you go on YouTube Live, you can watch all kinds of things all over I go there often to watch Elon Musk when he gets interviewed, or about SpaceX things, or I'm very interested in the Optimus robots, his humanoid robots, and he's engineering them. The one thing about a guy that has companies like Tesla, and his whole robotics thing is part of Tesla, and he pretty much assured the board of directors that he was not going to split it off. It's going to be part of Tesla. So that way they're a public company, and, people invest in Tesla, and they expect the robotics part to be a part of it. Or if you split it off, every shareholder of Tesla is going to end up with, a share of Optimus Inc. if they ever separated it. But, right now it's so robotics, and it's so tied into the car. The computer that's in the car is going to be the same computer that's in Optimus. They're working on version 5 of that computer now. We have version 4 in our car. Version 5, every time they put a new version in, it's more capacity, more, handle more information. The camera setup hasn't been changed, so it's just faster and so forth. So that's... Anyway, so it has the same robotics, has the same brain, so to speak, and they're working, they're working the computer so that it, Optimus can communicate with us, like as in communicate verbally, and you can talk to the robot as a tell it what to do, so to speak. I don't know what would happen. It says, what do you think about it? What do you think the weather's going to be like at 8 p.m. tonight? It could do that. It'll look through all the information that's all over the internet, right? And survey every weather channel, government, TV network, whatever, and come up with an answer and write you a report and give you a map, maybe. And now you have this AI's capabilities that is now, been incorporated in the computer in the networks that the computers, like what you have in your car, or what you have in your phone, what you have in your iPad. I was just reading an article that, they have automated, they have mechanical, electrical actuators, sensors, so that you can remotely operate a military helicopter from an iPad. And that includes takeoffs, landings, launching rockets, shooting 50 caliber, machine guns, whatever. So if something happened to the pilot, the robotics of the helicopter can complete the mission and return the soldiers back into safety. So, everything is going to be, I'm sure there's going to be a high degree of robotics in our commercial airlines. So that the co-pilot basically will be the computer system itself. Now you may have a pilot and a co-pilot, but the computer system can be operated from the tower or from anywhere on the planet to assure the safety of the passengers. So now you don't have to worry about, so commandeering an aircraft, from a passenger perspective, that ain't going to be able to happen because the the tower would then land the airplane. As soon as it became obvious through an alarm or whatever that there was a bad guy trying to get in the cockpit or is already in the cockpit and trying to influence the flight path of a commercial airline. So, it has autopilot now. So this is like an extension of autopilot where the tower essentially could take over the control of an airplane. And they're doing it right now with military aircraft. I just read the story this morning. That was like headline news. That's pretty important news, right? Phew, that's amazing. I would think. All right, let's see where Maryland is. So we'll go to the Tesla app. Yep. There it is. You can see it on your screen. The car is, there it is. It's 1400 North Ocean. So she is at the beach. Right there. We see where she's parked. She has a beach pass. So every week she likes to go to the beach. So that's where she is. Let's do stocks. STOCKS. There it is. I have some selected stocks. Let's see Tesla. Oh my God, $321 a share. Literally, oh my God, there's a 1 month look. So in the last 2 weeks, it has gone from like $170 a share to $320. It's doubled. It's a double in a month. Company's worth $1 trillion now. Tesla's worth $1 trillion. It was worth 500 billion 2 weeks ago. Now it's $1 trillion. And I believe Elon owns like 10%, 12% of Tesla. So that's a big piece of his net worth. Yep. There's some Tesla pictures. Tesla. Here's. Is that Trump? Yeah. I mean, Elon was a big, supporter of Trump. He made they call it as a big bet. No, he's, it was intuitively obvious that, between the two people, you're voting for one or the other on who you want to run the entire U.S. government. It can't be that. It couldn't be Kamala. She showed no capacity to do that. I mean, Trump's he's a big business guy, he knows how to run complicated things. And I understand it's 4.5 million people come up through pyramids with all these different cabinet officers. The State Department has 500,000 employees in the State Department, dispatched all over the planet, with State Department offices. They have their own securities, and I'll bet you that the Trump team will be plucking off some, what do you call it? Be plucking off some of the news people, like Jillian Turner, who is right now talks about State Department matters. She might become the State Department spokesperson, They hire her right away from Fox, and put her right into the State Department as the spokesperson. Yeah, and I wonder if they would pick Carrie Lake, if that would be a big enough position for her, to be the press secretary. Wow. And she'd be involved in everything that goes on in the government. She would have to be a highly trusted soul, I'll tell you. Wow. Yeah, look at Apple stock. $226 a share. The Dow is at 43,000. Whoever heard of such a thing? Look at the price of some of these shares. Amazon, $200 a share. So when it's green or red, it has to do with, how it closed on Friday. Yeah, I just, I have the Dow. I have NASDAQ. I have Apple stock, Tesla stock, Nvidia stock, Microsoft, Google, which is Alphabet Inc., essentially, but their stock trading symbol is GOOG. Amazon, AMZN, $200 a share. Yep. I remember when I was an officer at Southern Security Bank, you buy that for $4 a share. During the bad time. $4 a share. Oh my God. Why don't I buy 1,000 shares of that? It'd be worth hundreds of millions today. Something goes from $4 to 200, and God knows how many splits there are in the middle. Telephone company. Yep. They say hindsight's always 20/20. Yeah. Anyway, so Elon Musk is going to get his elbows inside the U.S. government in some kind of a capacity. It'll be interesting to see what they figure out for him. Because he's a busy guy. He's running 2 different companies. And he's CEO of 2 different companies. SpaceX and Tesla and Optimus. So he's got 4 or 5 different cars running through the factories. He's attracted all kinds of exciting talent. So these enterprises are being managed by, very capable people that have been attracted from all over the planet. And they got expansion plans and this and that, and new devices, because they are a manufacturer. So if you're a cabinet officer, you're like, you got to spend 50 hours a week doing that. I don't think he has the capability of, no matter who you are, you got to sleep at least 5 hours a day. So I don't think he'd actually be a cabinet person, but he'd be an advisory, so he could peel off one day a week or whatever to, give advice and direct, some optimization. First thing you want to do is attack the Department of Education. We got a lousy, our student scores are terrible. So, simplistically, Trump wants to cut up the Department of Education and just push it down into the states and basically get rid of it. Other than a couple of, have 10 people, left in Washington to keep track of, educational gains, whatever, just a small piece, instead of having 9 office buildings stuck with Department of Education. Let's get them all out into the states. Either move some of them to the states, and shut it down and hire people locally. That'll be, how that's structured. The media is all over Jerome Powell saying, "Hey, I ain't going anywhere." I wouldn't be so cocky when you're dealing with the President of the United States. Yeah, I'd be a little more cautious. All right. So we're gonna. It's 10:01, and the special early morning broadcast of what Jimmy thinks is. We discuss headline news, political news, anything newsworthy, newsworthy topics and events. I have a phone that can be called. I can be texted at 561-416-1100. You can join in. You can just sit back and put your headphones on or whatever. Just listen to Jimmy talk. And there's probably something of interest that I might pop up with. There you go. President-elect Trump has picked Susie Wiles to be his chief of staff. She must be one strong lady. Because Trump is he's certainly no easy guy to deal with. He is a tough one. Yeah, and he's involved in a lot of stuff. I've told you that we drive a Tesla. There it is. There's the back end of my Tesla. I just found out. Well, actually, I inquired because somebody that lives on my floor has engaged with the building. And behind a column, there's a 230 volt outlet, which he uses to energize his car. He can plug right in. It's his private spot. He paid $2,000, for the electrician to come, put that plug in there. So I looked in his parking spot last week, or early part of this week, and I sent him a text. I said, I see a Genesis car parked there. Are you aware this is a Genesis car that's blocking your... He said, "Oh yeah, that's my new Genesis." I decided, I don't want the Tesla anymore, so I got a Genesis, a bigger SUV. I said, "Oh really?" I said, "Well, how about if we swap spots? You can have I got a premium spot. It's one of the best parking spots in the garage. I'm right outside the front door. So there's my car. It's right in the middle there. This guy hugs that column. This guy, Jerry, he hugs that column. They don't want door dings any more than you do. So they don't park in the middle of the spot. So you see how much space we got?" I said, "So there's that car. There's that car. There's the space in my space. The car's not there. There's, number 368. My cart. I'll roll that down to your spot. Once we why don't we swap? You can have. Look, I got a Tesla sign there. I can remove that. That's Marilyn got me that sign when we got the Tesla. Yep. And there you go, 368. Let's swap. Take a look. So I sent him the information with a dialogue, of course. So he said this In a few days, he'll take a look and see if that's acceptable. Swap. I said, so my suggestion was, let's swap. You park in my spot, I'll park in your spot, for a couple of weeks. And if we like it, then, we'll go down to Ann, the facility manager here, and just say, oh, by the way, we swap spots. He's in my spot and I'm in his spot. Why don't you make it official? So that'll be my spot, and he'll take my spot. And we reserve the right to swap back. You want to make note of that, or what do you want to do? She'll probably say, "Nah, don't worry about it. Just." I said, well, I just don't want to be thrown out of the spot. Anyway. So that's the latest on my parking spot. So that solves a big problem because, electric car, it's nice to have an outlet right there to plug into so that you can, plug right in. I would, come to think about it, if that happens, and you got 230 volts there, that means I could get, you got 115 on one side, 115 on the other. You add it up, you got 230. Well, you just take half the circuit, and I could wire up a Wi-Fi situation. That would be connected to my network. And that way I could get updates right in the garage, right to my car. I'll think about that. Well, let's get control of the spot first. And then I'll think about the Wi-Fi situation. Or at least I could have a camera. So we could have a little camera connected to that spot. And since there's electricity, it'll be energized. Like a door. What do you call it? Ring? Have a ring camera. So you have audio and video watching anybody that might be partnering around with us with your car or your plug. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yep. The plug needs to be replaced. It's all burnt out. All right, it's 10:08. I'm going to say goodbye. And you all have a nice Saturday. I'm not too sure what happens if I'm going to be doing anything like yickety-yacketing here on Sunday. Yeah. Marilyn wants to go to the beach again. I can't go to the beach. I have a skin sensitivity, skin cancers, because I was a lifeguard as a kid. And my surgeon friend who operates to remove these things when they show up on my body, on my skin, he snips them off, he sends them to a lab, and I've had a couple of them where they had to be, where they were cancerous. So doctor says no beach. Your beach days are OVER. That's okay. No beach. Son of a beach. Yeah, no beach. I'm looking at Trump, Melania, and their son, Barron, who's like 6'9". He towers over. I mean, he is really big. Wow. Phew. Anyway, I thought that was all right. So, been on the air 1 hour and 35 minutes. That's enough. That's enough for Jimmy on Saturday. I'm glad to surprise you with an early morning. I was on there at 8:30 in the morning. Marilyn's gonna get mad at me because she says you have to have a fixed time. No, you have to. You have to go with the flow. Listen, you all have a great day. I might be on tomorrow, not sure. Definitely Monday. So have a good weekend if I don't speak to you sooner. Bye-bye. Be careful.